all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I would like to gift my book, The Golden Key, Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance to you at goldenkey.gift, where you can get the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD at checkout. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow again. It's a fabulous Friday here in the studio as I record, and back with you feels awfully nice. Hope you're doing well wherever you're tuning into this broadcast. And today I want to talk a little bit about timing and, this idea that everything ultimately comes in its season. Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come. We've heard that, right? And nothing is more powerful than the thing that you want to call into your life, its time appearing, and you being in alignment with that. So this, one of the biggest challenges, I think, being in 3D, I know I've seen, and I'm sure you'll agree, one of many is this, patience thing. I've said before, patience has never been my greatest virtue, and moving fast, wanting to talk fast, move fast, get things done, got to get there, and I've said it before, and I'll say it a million more times on the show probably, if time willing. You don't dance to get to a particular spot on the dance floor. You don't listen to a song to get to the last note. There's a process in your life, and in the unfolding of the things that you wish to come to fruition, the fruit, right? That you are looking to yield in your life next. We're all looking to yield more fruit. That being said, what happens if you pick fruit early? It's no good, right? There is a process for that delicious apple to be ready to eat, or the grape. There's a process. It doesn't all happen at once. And thank God for that, because it would be awfully boring if we got what we wanted instantly, and didn't have. It's that process, that longing really makes things worthwhile. It's like, what's better, Christmas or Christmas Eve? I always thought about this as a kid, having celebrated Christmas, in my house. It's like, I don't know. Looking back, Christmas Eve is awfully magical because it's like yet to come, right? The surprise, the gift. And so whatever fruit you're looking to harvest in your own life, don't get so caught up in the having of the fruit that you try and harvest it early. And, oftentimes people will say, I can't wait for this. And, a friend of mine, Shane, a long time ago, a few years back, pointed out, and I just thought it was like really brilliant. His perspective on it, he's like, I stopped saying I can't wait for anything. Instead, because it disrespects the now. It disempowers the now and what is here that has shown up in the only moment that ever exists, the now moment, right? So instead of, I can't wait for this, I'm looking forward to this, right? Notice the difference in that energetically and vibrationally. And it's such a difference. Like always paying tribute to this now moment, even if it doesn't hold it doesn't hold necessarily the fruit that you most want to eat in this lifetime. it's a part of the process to get there. And, you know, what goal makes any sense without the journey, right? It's like, it's such an important ingredient in the recipe of your, next level life unfolding. And to disrespect it pushes away, actually. It's in appreciation and gratitude that you're calling in that which comes next. Gratitude begets things to be grateful for, right? It leads to more things to be grateful for. So don't pick your fruit early. Don't wish you could pick your fruit early. Learn to appreciate the journey along the way. And this is a lifelong lesson and journey in itself for each and every one of us, certainly me. And I know you can relate. So I was looking for a clip with Abraham talking about, everything in its perfect timing. And this particular one is titled Everything You Want Comes in Perfect Timing on the Above Clouds YouTube page where I found this particular Abraham clip. And there's so much good insight and wisdom in this clip. Even above and beyond talking about timing, there's a little piece of it actually where it just talks about timing, but this just expands on that. So let's take a listen, and I'll be back after.
I guess I need clarity in a couple things. There's a certain rituals that I have that help me feel good with myself, help me feel that I can achieve and do anything that I want. And when I am in that state of mind, I feel like I said I can conquer anything. But there's two desires that I want, and I feel those desires that are achievable. The thing I guess that I want is when I think about those two desires that make me feel good, one more than the other, how do I go by let's say, using my time wisely on one thing when I can focus on the other?
You're really going to like this. Every desire that you hold, every desire that you have put into your vortex is viable, possible,
Yes.
active in the vortex. So you can choose anything that makes you feel good to focus upon, and in doing so, everything that you want is in the process of unfolding. You don't have to choose one or the other. Just choose something that feels good and let everything that you want come to be.
Focus 100% on that.
On anything that feels good. On anything that feels good. Here's another way of looking at it. We give this analogy often, and you will hear it clearly. Let's say there are 5 things that are important to you. 5 desires. And 3 of them you're not the least bit worried about. You're seeing them unfolding, you're expecting them to come. 2 of them you really want, but you're more worried about them because they're slower to come. If you will focus upon any one of the 3 that feels good, then the 2 that you're worried about will come too. But if you focus on the one you're worried about, you'll mess up all 5 of them.
True.
And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would choose the one that is easiest for us to get there. Because it doesn't matter why you're in the receptive mode. When you are, then you're getting good ideas about everything that you want, and everything moves along. Something else that happens, they can all dovetail together. We want to tell you a story because we want you to realize how they can all come about. We were talking with a woman on the phone many years ago who was not hearing us. She wanted us to cast a magic spell so that her things could come about. And she was irritated that we weren't willing to do that. We wanted to teach her how it's her vibration that makes things come about. And so everything that she talked about, she was talking about them from such a negative point of view that there was no way that she could even get any movement on any of them. So we said, let's talk about blue glass. She didn't want to talk about blue glass. She thought it was stupid that we would want to talk about blue glass. But we insisted, and we described blue glass, lots of different shades of blue, lots of different depths of blue. Some blue glass you can see through, some you can't, and so forth. It was truly annoying to her. And then we talked about butterflies. She didn't want to talk about butterflies either, but we wanted to distract her from the problems that were so active in her vibration. So we described butterflies. We spent about a minute, a little more than a minute, talking about butterflies. Again, she's annoyed. And then we said, let's talk about feathers. She didn't want to talk about feathers either, but we described feathers for a little over a minute. And then she hung up. She was not happy. She did not get our point. She did not enjoy the subject of blue glass or butterflies or feathers. And then Jerry and Esther, they were in California at the time, went to one of their favorite restaurants to have lunch in La Jolla. And on their way to the restaurant, they'd parked their car and they got out to walk to the restaurant. And Esther said, let's go in here. She just felt this very powerful compulsion to go into this shop, which is not altogether unusual for Esther, but it was a very strong desire. And so Jerry followed her in, and they went in and in and in, back, deep into the shop, and they discovered a complete wall of blue glass, filling the floor with so many beautiful blue glass objects. Well, it didn't mean anything to Esther. She had not really been focusing on the conversation from her conscious mind, and Jerry had not heard it at all. And so the blue glass didn't mean that much, but there it was. And then they went to George's and they had lunch. And then they left the restaurant and they walked down to the cove in La Jolla. And as they were walking across this expanse of grass, a flurry of butterflies surrounded them so intense that they had to stop talking to keep from eating them. And Esther is still not making the association with what we had activated together. Jerry didn't realize it either. It was just a very powerful anomaly. And then the butterflies cleared and a little boy came from across the way. And Jerry said to Esther, do you know him? It looks like he knows you. And he came running to Esther and handed her a feather, a pigeon's feather that he'd picked up off the ground. And then Esther remembered the conversation about the blue glass and the butterflies and the feathers. And she said to Jerry, all of them have come about in nearly the same moment in time because they were all active in our vibration. In other words, all you have to do is find something that you haven't been beating a negative drum about, and you will gradually soar to this place of connection. And then everything that you want comes to you in perfect timing, sometimes many of them coupled together.
And I feel so sure to get to that level. When my state of mind is like, I feel so sure. The one thing that, okay, thanks, I got my answer on that. When I go and do for one desire and do everything that
There's something that we want you to hear, and that is we want you to focus not to make it happen. We want you to focus because it's fun when you focus.
I see that. Like I said, I visualize myself already. I enjoy the moment, and I feel good with myself, living it before it has manifested in front of me. The thing is that I see that change lifestyle that is going to bring, even though material things don't mean much to me, I see myself enjoying those things. Part of me, I'm okay with it, but part of me, like I guess for where I came from, it feels that I'm not, there's a few.
We know it's complicated and you've got resistance about it. I want this thing I do not want. I want this thing I should not have. I want this thing that others may misunderstand. There's some contradicted energy. But that's why we're saying to you, your pure desire is in that vortex. And if you won't overthink it, if you won't try at the same time that you want it to evaluate the rightness of your having it, or your worthiness of having it, or how others will feel about it as you have it, if you can clean up that vibration, that's why when we say to you, there isn't anything that you want for any reason other than you think you will feel good in the having of it. Do you think it's all right for you to feel good?
Oh, yes.
Do you think that if you feel good, that you deprive someone else of feeling good?
No.
Is there only so much of a flow of good feeling? Do you ever be healthy for quite a while and then you say, oh, wait, I've been feeling pretty healthy in my body for quite a long time, and there are a lot of sick people out there, so I've decided that for the month of April, I will be sick. And I will allow more of the wellness to flow to more of the people who haven't been getting any wellness. And so
I say now.
you have got to give in to the rightness of you being satisfied with your desires. You've got to give in to Source's desire for you to thrive in all ways that matter to you, you see. You've got to give up the struggle. And so if something that you want has a little struggle in it, don't use that as your subject to focus, because it will slow everything down. We don't know of any better way, any more efficient way. We don't know of a faster way for you to finally accept your worthiness
That's where I have trouble with.
than for you to line up and let some good stuff in, and line up and let some more good stuff in, and line up and let some more good stuff in, and feel the pleasure of Source within you as you are thriving. That's the way you will teach yourself the feeling of worthiness, is by realizing that that's what your inner being wishes for you. And when you hold yourself apart from the blessings that are raining down all around you, that's resistance to something that is natural, you see. Helpful?
Very.
Something more?
I was, I guess, raised with this religion, and it was basically, I guess, unconsciously programming me. Now that I see things differently, it's like I'm on this side, and the people that I surround with, they have this mentality, which I'm okay with that. They have these beliefs, which I'm okay with that. But now I see, like I said, we are to seek the truth, and the truth will set us free. I feel that I am aware of a few more things. But
the releasing of resistance will set you free.
Yes, okay.
And the releasing of squabbling over what is true is the ultimate releasing of resistance.
Even though I know, deep in me, inside of me, I know that what makes me feel good about the beliefs that I have now and what I used to have. But me being around here, it makes me question.
But see, the beliefs that you had were on the way to the beliefs that you have. You couldn't be who you are now if you've not moved through that in order to come to that clarity.
Yeah, the thing that I have is that I kind of question myself, am I going in the right path? Thank you. You know, because that sometimes I feel like it's just myself going over here and everyone is going that way.
Let us show you how you can tell. So this subject sounds like the religion that I once learned and that many of my family and friends still are experiencing is somewhat different from what I have now come to believe. So there is a difference in the action or in the behaviors. There's a difference in the way they're doing life and the way I'm doing life. Which one's right and which one's wrong? And then we say, so there you are in that action world, trying to figure out which pile is the right pile and which pile is the wrong pile. But you're stepping back from that just a little bit, and you're finding so much about those people that you love. And in doing so, you are in sync with the Source within you who loves them so much. So in your alignment and love, the differences in your opinion is irrelevant.
That's true.
But in your opinion and action, it seems so big that it keeps you from your love. You see what we're getting at?
Yes.
So this is always true. When you are focused with the fullness of who you are flowing through you, you always feel wonderful. So when you are appreciating something about one of them, you are in such sync with Source, who is right there with you, that the whole of you is having this experience. And that is what you always desire, is that the whole of you be there. Because when the whole of you is there, when Source energy is flowing through you, as you hold anyone as your object of attention, they always benefit, and so do you. In other words, only good comes from that. But if you question yourself in some way, so you are disconnected from Source, now it is that disconnection that makes you question the rightness There's not rightness or wrongness. There's alignment or not. There's allowing who you are to flow in this moment, or there's pinching yourself off. There's worthiness or lack of worthiness. There's clarity or confusion. There's being who you are or not being who you are. But what religion or whatever that you're involved in has nothing to do with it. You could be in any religion in the world and still be connected to source energy. Do you know that that which you want to call God is at the heart of every one of them, no matter how much disagreement you have with them? Do you know that every person, no matter how abhorrent their behavior is in any moment in time, Source is loving them, and when you're looking at their action instead of the part of them that Source is looking at, then you're going to disconnect from Source, and that's why you feel bad, not because they are abhorrent or doing wrong, but because you've used them as your excuse to disconnect from Source, who never disconnects from Source. Isn't that good to know?
Wasn't that great? Focus on what you say at the start. If you've got 5 things you want, focus on the 3 you feel most good about, and the other 2 come naturally. And you know, guys, I've seen this time and time and time again. You know, a couple days ago, I went to a graduation for my nephew who just graduated from the Gemological Institute of America. He's really into crystals and stuff. And oh, by the way, I mean, what an inspiring story. It's my nephew who, you know, as a child, there's a little digression, but I want to share the story now that I'm thinking about it. He was born with Asperger's, which is like a form of autism, and you know, very, especially in his first, 12, let's say years, 13 years, pretty challenged, going to a special school, behavior issues. And as he's gotten older, he's just gotten to be such a delightful human. But he was always told that he couldn't, that he was, as at a disadvantage. You go to a special school, you've got this disability, you're not the same as other kids, yada, 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 that whole story. And I've always told him, like, what narrative are we listening to as he's gotten older and can comprehend? Like, look at who's the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, supposedly. If someone told me he had Asperger's, I haven't ever looked into this, so not verified, but, certainly some brilliant minds have had Asperger's. And so here, all of a sudden, he graduates the other day, and he's top of his class, the best consecutive test scores in the history of the school or something. I believe like the most ever or something like that. I forget exactly how it played out, but it was so cool, and no one more deserving to see this kid. Like, it's back to that idea of, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll think it's dumb its whole life, right? It's about finding our lane. And sometimes that ties back into, and he found his lane. In his case, has been obsessed, and that can kind of be a part of Asperger's, is that hyper-focused on one thing. And in his case, he's always really loved crystals and gems and everything. And, he's just thriving and excelling. And it feels so good to see. And, but there's a timing to that, right? It's taken some time for all of that to come. That was a process for him to get there. It didn't, and because of the process, the other side of it is so beautiful, and he really appreciates it, and everyone around him really appreciates it. So, if there's, back to what Abraham was saying, if there's some things that you want that seem easy, focus on those. The other 2 come. As she said, and I know where I was going with originally bringing up the graduation is my partner Karen's been saying all the time, Brandon, remember this, teaching best what you most need to learn. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to strive so hard to achieve whatever you're trying to, do things that feel good and watch stuff unfold. And literally, while we're sitting in graduation, I got like 3 emails of all like kind of significant things in my life, and, issues that I wanted to resolve, and expansive opportunities that I was hoping would unfold. It's like boom, 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 all while I'm sitting there on a quote unquote work day doing this family oriented graduation, hours away from home. So it's such a great example about doing what feels good and watching other things just kind of come to you, right? It's so beautiful. And getting that energy in your vibration of and even getting something done, it's like that checklist. We release serotonin or dopamine or whatever if we check something off of our list, right? So what's the easiest thing to accomplish to get you in that state? And I love the story she also shared about the blue glass and butterflies and feathers. It's a great example. It wasn't a big deal to her, but it was in her field, in her vibration. And we can are we consciously putting things in our vibration all the time? Are you consciously? Because if not, you're, underutilizing your ability and powers. And I encourage to play with things like this blue glass butterfly feather thing. I've seen, done quite a bit of it in my own life and seen some wild things appear in some of those stories you've heard on here, but in some you haven't. It's really, really incredible, the creation ability that we have. And I think we're just coming to a point where we really understand how to start tapping into it. And a lot of it, like she said, is focus not just to get something, but having fun. It's fun when you focus on you're playing with vibration and feeling into that thing that you want to call in. Get rid of that contradictory evaluation around it. I love how she says, get into the rightness of being satisfied with your desires. Line up and let the good stuff in. Feel the presence of source within you when you're thriving, knowing that is your natural state. You deserve that. No one has ever been as worthy as you are, more worthy. Yeah, they've been as worthy, not more worthy than you. You're as worthy as any other being ever has been, could be, or will be. And releasing anytime you're seeing resistance, it's back to Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. Just ease the tension, baby. Release the resistance. Those that Happy Gilmore know what I'm talking about. What a great movie. Release the resistance and it sets you free. Don't squabble over things, man. She's talking about squabbling over religion. Man, boy, have I done my share of that. And in times it's been in fun, too. So it's all about where am I coming from, right? If I'm having a fun, good-hearted debate, that can be good, right? It's when it's getting into anger and judgment and negativity. Now you're disconnected. Your opinions or judgment of others are keeping you from love. Therefore, you're disconnected from source. Therefore, you are, it's like a superhero that has a power ring or something in a Marvel movie, and then you take the ring away, and it's like, okay, now what can they do? Nothing, right? That's like being aligned with unconditional love and non-judgment is the same as our power ring, and it helps to just remember, when you fall into that judgment, remember there is no rightness or wrongness. What's important is there's alignment or lack of alignment. She talked about. So when source energy is flowing through, both you and the object, whoever you're focused on, they're going to benefit, right? When you're tapped into source, whatever's around you is going to benefit from the overflow of that. And judging, of course, disconnects you from source, and you have used essentially others as an excuse. Oftentimes, we all have to do so. Let's stop that. What do you say? I think I'm ready. I've had enough disconnection from source. I'm ready to my cup to overflow, and even more authentic power flowing through me. And I know you are too, or you wouldn't be hearing these words. That's what I got for you today. I hope you feel empowered. I know I do. And I have a little song to leave you with, just to aid along with that empowerment, a newer song by Ayla Nerio, who I've played quite often on the show. The song is, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's YLVA. You love her. Hope you love it. Until next time, journey well. Love you all so much. Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.